Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Wolff Den presented by Win Again Academy. I'm Matt Wolff, founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. Today we have Ron Hylton on the show. Welcome to the Wolff Den, Ron.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you having me on this live broadcast, and I'm excited.
Yeah, you were dancing to the music. We got to get some better theme music, but it's not bad to start. We're gonna find a theme song. Get I don't know which performer should drop the hook for our theme show.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I went to a New Edition concert about 3 weeks ago, but so maybe find something with them, man.
It's unbelievable the amount of old school hip hop R&B that is still out there and killing it. Great.
Oh, it's insane! It's insane. They did the whole New Edition came back and they're doing a full tour. It probably was a little bit more than 3 weeks ago, but they came right into Boston and I had an amazing time. They had Jodeci. They had I forgot the Charlie Wilson, who was the lead singer of the Gap Band.
Yeah.
That dude was like 70 years old with a double knee replacement, and he crushed it.
I was just on the Beach Boys cruise with the Temptations. Otis is 80.
Oh, wow.
80 years old from the Temptations, and he was. I mean, the Beach Boys got a couple new young guys who are just incredible. Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. I mean, it was an incredible couple days of music. You're in Boston, right?
So no, I'm actually in Mystic, Connecticut.
Okay, I was going to ask you about the Boston Marathon, which just went off.
Yeah, so they actually did the Boston Marathon earlier than usual, but because everything that was going on with COVID and everything, this is probably the first time they actually they started a little earlier. I think they usually started. I could be wrong. They usually started later on in the month, but they started it in April.
Oh, you're right, because it's not. It was a holiday, isn't it? It's usually about some holiday. I don't know if it is the Monday after Easter, but it usually is on. If I remember, maybe that's the New York Marathon. I don't know. Anyway, we're getting way off out of control here.
Okay.
For those who don't know who you are, give a quick introduction, and then let's get into it.
Yeah. So my name is Ron Hylton. I live in the Mystic, Connecticut area. Grew up in a smaller city called New London. I am a retired corrections officer. I would say my first 17 years in corrections, working for Connecticut Department of Corrections. I was an officer. My last 3 years, I was a correctional counselor, worked in 5 different prisons, anywhere from low level to supermax. While I was working in corrections, I've always had a love for health and wellness and fitness. I started kind of my fitness journey through martial arts. I have 2 black belts in karate, a brown belt in judo. And then I had going some time back, I had a buddy of mine who was doing a personal training course. I saw that was quite interesting. So I went ahead, got certified, and then just really fell in love with the fitness industry and wanted to do more with on the rehab side of things. Didn't really have time to go back to school for chiropractics or physical therapy. It was just too much of a toll. I had young children and a family, but massage therapy was like right down the lane. And then it just so happened that the massage school that I was taking a look at had a sports massage program attached to it. And I was like, that's what I want to do. They had a part-time program, which allowed me to go to school around my family. And that was it, man. I got licensed in 2009. I hit the ground running. And I've been working in that industry mostly on a part-time basis all up until 2018. 2018, I retired from Connecticut Department of Corrections and decided I wanted to do more with health and wellness and my sports massage. And then I was ended up working out of a chiropractic office a couple days a week. I slapped some magnets on my truck saying Ron Hylton Traveling Sports Massage, and kind of took off from there, man. I mean, I was a little slow in the beginning, trying to do a little bit of marketing, and then freaking COVID hit, and then like nothing was happening, and then everything opened back up. Once things opened back up, I started getting super busy, and then over this past holidays, I always had this interest of wanting to launch my own athletic apparel line for a good 10 years. I didn't know how. And it's weird how the universe just kind of talks to you. I literally was like scrolling through Instagram, and this guy jumps out, wait, would you ever wanted to start your own apparel line? I was like, yes, kind of thing. And then I took a 5-day training back in October. And mind you, I am not a computer savvy person. I don't know how to do anything of that, but you know what? I'm coachable. I'm a very coachable person. And then did that, and I was able to launch Be Legendary Athletic Apparel, and that's been doing pretty good. I mean, I've been at it for 4 months right now, and I'm making sales. I'm not making Nike and Under Armour sales, but you know what? I'm making some sales. So and that's always about just the consistency.
Yeah, a lot to hit on with that. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one who talks back to the television and the advertising on my computer. I was like, you ever get hungry at night? Yeah. Go on. Go on. But Mystic Pizza, have you been there? Is it something people should go to? Have you seen the movie?
So it's kind of funny. So there's a better pizza place across the street. Let's put it that way. I just my opinion. They do have great pizza. I'm not knocking their pizza, but I don't. When people say let's go to downtown Mystic and have pizza, I usually tell them to go to the pizza place that's across the street. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a brick oven pizza place. But they do have
to go across the street and just the nostalgia of it.
Yeah, but when you walk into Mystic Pizza, there is a little bit of nostalgia. They have like pictures of like the movie and stuff like that. So and it's just interesting how that all started back in the 80s. I guess a guy was just inspired by the atmosphere and decided, I'm going to make a movie about Mystic Pizza. So, but
you never know what's going to hit or what's not going to hit. It's like, someone falls on their ass and they're a TikTok famous, and someone out compelling and stuff, and it's, crickets. But all it takes is one person or the right people to see what you're doing. And that could go for a lot of things. You talk about, selling Be Legendary. If the right person sees someone wearing it and buys it and wears it, I mean, there's just so many aspects that are out of your control, with regards to that.
Right.
And even with the magnet, I'm driving around. Everyone has purchased something off of something they saw on a car, on a street sign, on something. It wouldn't be $1 billion industry if they didn't. So, good to get stuff out there. That's, however you get it out there, that's the start. That's the hard part.
Absolutely.
The correctionals officer, I want to talk a little bit about that and how you got into it, but let's start from the end. You left there, you retired to sort of do a little bit of what you're doing now with the training and the Be Legendary. Was that a choice to just switch, or was there like a pension, age, service, retirement that allowed you to do that?
Yeah. So my actual college degree is in criminal justice, and my last semester in college, just kind of had that decision. I think everyone makes that decision. What are they going to do for work when they, you have this ride of going to college and having fun, and then all of a sudden it's like it's coming to an end. I had to make a choice. Do I want to be a police officer, or do I want to go into corrections? And I really had a hard and I knew that the Connecticut Department of Corrections at the time, they were doing a lot of mass hiring in the late 90s. And I knew if I just stayed consistent and I applied, I would probably get in. And sure enough, 8 months after I graduated from college, I was at the academy for Connecticut Department of Corrections. So it's 20. It was 20 years. They've changed since now, but it was 20 years of service. So I got in when I was 23. I retired at 43. So I have a full pension and benefit for me and my family. I could tell you my first 3 months after I retired, I know I said I was doing a lot, but I was doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I literally, my wife would come home. I would be in my pajamas in the morning when I got up. I was in my pajamas when she came home at night, from work. I was just like decompressing. I just needed to get away from everything and just chill. And I did that for the first 3 months after I retired.
Yeah, and believe me, that I think it's well deserved after that amount of time, and it's necessary. Sometimes you just need a break. We talk about, when you start to work as an adult to the time whenever. I mean, when do you ever get a break? I've had multiple instances where I was unemployed, and I'm like, man, it's hard to do, right? But I'm going to enjoy this, not having to hit the grind, because I'm going to be right back at it. And you just never know when you're going to get that next break. So I think it's if you can do it, and have the finances and the people around you who are supportive about it, I think it's a beautiful idea to just kind of take. We had a guy worked a long time, took a year off to traveled the world, and came back and worked. I mean, you're always going to be able to find another job, right? So go, why not go ahead and do it? I want to talk about your time as a correctional officer. I always bring things back to movies because I'm just a big movie buff. But I want your opinion on. You ever see the movie Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan? It was about the attorney in Alabama who was.
Yes, very good. It had it had what's his name, who played the inmate.
Was it Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx, yes.
So, what percent of, and this is just your opinion, what percent of people that you dealt with were possibly innocent and not guilty of what they were in there for?
So my 20 years, I'll be honest with you, in my 20 years, and mind you, I worked 20 years and I worked in 5 different prisons.
Okay.
I personally have never ran across anyone that was wrongly incarcerated or innocent. Not to say that probably never happened in the state of Connecticut, but
if you interact with them, you kind of get an idea. You hear things, right?
So in when you interact with them, they'll tell you what. I mean, it's interesting because they always will tell you what they're in for.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some of them, it's a badge of honor. Some of them, it's not. They're just there are some of them they're in, and there's a level of shame for being incarcerated, for them being there. But for the most part, I've never had anyone come up to me and saying that I am wrongly incarcerated and I'm innocent. Like, I've never had that. And like I said, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure that that's happened. I mean, humans are going to be humans, and unfortunately, I think sometimes the law is leveraged in the wrong way, in a corrupt way. But for the most part, in my personal experience, I personally have not ran across anyone like that.
What percentage of people did you encounter that you truly believe felt remorseful for the actions that they did?
Well, that's probably a low. I wouldn't say low percent.
Right.
To put it in a percentage, I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting. I mean, I've probably talked to hundreds and hundreds. Literally hundreds of inmates, and I can't really put a percentage on that. But I've had inmates that were incarcerated that was like, hey, look, they openly said, what I did was wrong, complete accident, or I didn't mean to do it, or I was completely out of my mind when it happened. And I'm looking to, I can't wait until this is all over and I can change my life, or, or their actions may have had such a rippling effect where they're not be able to get out of prison, but they're going to make the best of their life while they're incarcerated.
Yeah, I think, and I think it's great to have you on because you have the perspective of so many years around so many different people and seeing this. My opinion, and I always love to have this conversation, is that there's not enough consequences for bad behavior. And so you see people coming in and out. You probably seen people who get released who probably never should see the light of day again because they're just going to do bad again, or the people who don't ever make it into custody because whatever they did, the punishment isn't harsh enough. So I think and I'm not here for corporal punishment or all that, but I think if we have harsher punishments for certain things, people are going to start to think twice before they do it again. It's kind of like teaching your kids, which disclaimer, I don't have any kids, but I've been around and I was a bad kid myself, getting in a lot of trouble. And if you punish me for something, I'm going to, as you get older, I'm going to think, you know what, if I get caught doing this, I'm going to get in trouble. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Okay. So my feedback to that is you can make harsher punishments for somebody, but it's the person themselves, no matter how hard the punishment is, the person themselves has to understand to physically change. So let's hypothetically say we're going to start cutting off people's foots. It may make a deterrent, but you're still going to have that group of people that just are going to still.
But yeah, Ron, that's extreme. What if I say if you steal, if you go in and steal from a place, right, and the value is more than $100 or $500, you got to spend a year in jail.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know my analogy was a little extreme.
No, I get it. But if it was that, if you started to, I don't know, do something like that, I think people would, the average person would think twice about it. The people who want to do bad and don't care.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably a much smaller number than the people who are just like, hey, I get arrested, I get 3 meals a day, I don't have to do this or that.
Yeah.
The homeless people. Think about that. The homeless people and the mentally challenged and illness people would be like, look, let me try this because what's the worst case? I go to jail. That's it.
So those are a little
life.
Yeah. So yeah, that group of people are a little different. So I worked at intake block as when I was a counselor, I was in charge of intake block. So you see everyone come in right off the street and you go through the whole process and stuff. And we had regulars, they were just the homeless people or that just needed to get off the street. And they just did petty stuff like hung out and loitering in places where they weren't supposed to. Mm-hmm. They knew if they stood in that area, they would get picked up. So they just did little things like that. But it's just interesting because I being around, I dealt with a lot of people who being incarcerated for them is no different than them being out in the street. It really doesn't matter. So it's just this weird concept. Even if you made it a harsher thing, if you put harsher punishment on them, for some of those people, they'd be like, okay, I'm cool with going back because I got friends there. I got, either way, it doesn't really make a difference to them. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in. I want one last question about the correctional, and then I want to get into your. We didn't even get to talk about the Olympics, which we'll be excited to talk about. If you had the ability to make a reform, a change to the prison, judicial, legal system in that regard, what would one change that you would recommend?
Excuse me. I would evaluate like some of the more smaller crimes, and especially if someone has in my time working in corrections, I also worked in inpatient rehab unit. So I would say, like people that have drug issues or anything like that, I would say universally across the United States, set up more programming for them to go to. Make it a mandate that they go to this program before they send them off to prison, because there's this
That costs a lot more money, though. I think that's it, right? I mean, isn't that it costs a lot more money?
I don't know. I really don't know what the financial breakdown it would be, but if you really want to help someone,
Yeah.
because it's all about trying to help them. I mean, you really want to keep.
That's what prison is for, to reform people, to help them, right? Otherwise, if you're just trapping them for the rest of their lives, it's like there's other ways you can do.
Yeah, there's a certain level of reform, and again, it depends on the state and what their philosophy is. Like Connecticut, we had our last 3 commissioners were really good. They went from what we call a custody instead of having a custody mindset, they went to a treatment mindset. So they really focused on, when we have these people in, what treatment options can we have to get them, so we can get them out, so we can actually get them back out into society.
Right.
So it really does depend on the state and what their philosophy and their concepts are.
I guess a follow up to that would be, when, and it's a when, not an if, when marijuana becomes legal federally, do we release everyone who was punished under that?
Wow, that's a big.
Because I see both sides. I see, yes, it's legal now, but I also see, look, it was illegal then, and they knew it was illegal, and they broke the law. It's more about the principle of breaking the law than it is about what they did. Now, obviously, if you're talking about real minor offenders, which I think is something like you're talking about, it's a different story. But there is value to saying, look, it's the law. You have to follow it. It's not that hard to do. That's my feeling. But I also see the side like, look, it's legal now. These people probably aren't a big risk to letting them go. I think we should probably find a way.
Yeah, I do agree with that. If the law actually changes across the board for something like that, and there are people who are incarcerated just for that one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, and it could be depend. I mean, if they have what's called kingpin status, and and they were having like rooms of it, I don't think that person probably should.
No, I agree. It can't be just a blanket thing. Do you miss the life of being a corrections officer at all?
No, I don't. So I actually liked what I do. I didn't have a love or a passion for it, but I liked the work I did. I enjoyed going in the morning. I enjoyed working with some of my staff members. I had some staff that were phenomenal to work with, and I had some staff that just, I don't know, they might as well have been the people I was managing. I'm just be for real. But and then I just like the type of busy work I was doing. Once I got into the treatment end of things, I was able to. I had a caseload. I was seeing inmates. I was dealing with phone calls and attorneys and stuff like that. So it was a lot of the busy work, doing a lot of stuff with pre-release. So yeah, that stuff was pretty cool.
Did you form any connections with any of the inmates? Like, did you sort of have a rapport with anyone?
Yeah, while I was working there, I mean, obviously not outside of work, but when I was there, you always want to build some type of rapport with some of the inmates. It's always good to be able to, because regardless of what they did, I mean, some of them are jerks, but regardless of what they did, they're people, right? So regardless if they were in for capital felony murder or if they were in for a drug charge, if you talk to them like a person and you really build that rapport with them, they're more than likely to comply whatever that you're asking them to do.
Right. So it's more about not stirring the pot than it is, because I think it's hard not to look at some of these people as not human based on their actions towards other humans.
Yeah.
You have to, there's laws against that, right? It's why we have prisoners of war and war crimes, and which to me seems crazy, right? You're in a war, they're killing, but it's like people complaining about how you kill the chickens. Well, you're about to kill them. Do you coddle up to them and become friends with them and then kill them? Is that worse? I don't know. It seems strange. It's all strange to me, but I don't own a chicken farm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it was a good career, and it's still providing for me and my family now. I've been retired, going on 4 years now, which seems bananas.
Yeah.
I am so grateful that I decided to go into that career, and I can move on with my life and do other things, And I got nothing against people that got to wake up and do this and do a job for 60 years, but I'm not that guy.
15 to 20 years is a long time to be doing anything. It doesn't matter work or whatever it is. So and to be able to make a change late in life, I did it. You did it. A lot of other people can do it. It's never too late. It's cliche, but it's, for the most part, it's never too late to start and make a change and do something that you like or you're passionate about, or maybe learn a new skill like you did, because you had to learn. You took courses. You got certified. So you get certified to be a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to fast forward to all of that because in your intro, you didn't mention that you were working with the U.S. Olympic team, which is an honor.
Yeah. So last year, let's say beginning of January. So I just how I connected with you, just networking and talking to people. I love talking to people and stuff. So I connected with a gentleman by the name of Bill Peralt. I keep messing up his last name, but AKA Wild Bill. That's what they actually call him out west. He's very well known massage therapist out in the West Coast. And this gentleman has been working with USA Track and Field since the late 70s. He's in his late 70s right now, I would say. But anyway, connected with him, had a good rapport. I was like, man, let's hop on a Zoom and talk, man. And then he just started showing me all this stuff. It was like going through Olympic time, he just a really good dude. And so he started telling me about the events and certain events that were coming up. And the last event that he mentioned was I'll be heading out to the Olympic trials for USA Track and Field. And I said, bro, how do I get there? And he goes, it just so happens I know the guy who's picking the team. If you send me your resume, mail me your resume, I'll send it to him.
Now, how is your resume at that point? Was it worthy of it, or is it more, hey, you hit lightning and caught the right guy? Because someone just I think it was someone, Dre, I forget who it was on my LinkedIn, was saying that credentials are more important than experience.
It depends. I would say when you're trying to go somewhere super high level, they do look at your credentials, but at the end of the day, I mean, my credentials are spot on, man. I mean, I wasn't like I didn't work with before then. I never worked with a professional team, but I worked with athletes. I have a slew up to this point. I have a slew of certifications that back up my work and what I do. I do work out of a clinic, out of an actual clinic, working from somebody that's old and broken to elite to top, in anyone that's an athlete in the area. And my niche is working with athletes. And I just told him, I said, listen, I'm very humbled by it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not expecting anything, I'm just like that. And then, I would say maybe 3 or 4 weeks after I sent him that resume, I got an email from the guy who was heading up the team for the Olympic trials. And he said, welcome to the team. And I about flipped out my chair. I flipped out my chair, and it was just awesome. That experience of flying out there to it was at the University of Oregon, and being under this tent of nothing but high level massage therapists. I would say that are at my level, or even have a greater skill set. Athletic trainers, chiropractors, PTs, sports doctors. And then on top of that, the athletes had everything, anything you can think of as far as rehab and recovery was under that tent. Never seen anything like it. And just to be able to get your hands on those athletes. And I am happy to announce that I just got picked for another national team.
Awesome. Congrats.
So it is.
We're breaking news to the world here.
Yeah. So it's still with USA Track and Field. So USA Track and Field has two major events coming this summer. So one is the Outdoor Nationals, and that's in June. And the other one is the Worlds, which is in July. So the person who is team captain or lead for the Outdoor Nationals, he reached out to me and asked me if I'd be willing to come out. I was like, yes. You don't even have to ask me, and I was hoping to get the Worlds for July. I haven't heard anything yet, but if I do, then I'll fly back out west for that as well.
You got to keep an eye out for my guy Grant Holloway.
Okay.
He is a superstar on the rise. Does the hurdles?
Grant Holloway. Okay.
He's a University of Florida Gator. He was an Olympian. He actually was the favorite in the Olympics here, and he had a fall and didn't get, which is crushing to these people, right? You work your whole life to never know if you're going to get back, and you're a favorite, and it's terrible. But congrats on that. It's great. Obviously, they like the work that you did the first go around. But it's an interesting dynamic when you're looking for work, whether you're an intern who just graduated college or someone like you who's breaking in. Like, everyone wants the person with the experience and the credentials, but how do you get there? Someone has to give you a chance.
Yeah, and you know what? I do feel that way. Like I feel like if I were to just blanket email and just try to talk to just Jane that's in the office of USATF, I would probably have not gotten there unless and it was basically, I felt like, and to be honest, it was like I did skip a whole lot of red tape, and just someone just plucked me out of, like, yes, you're on our team.
Which is fine, because you deserve it, and that just kind of shows that the process is flawed, right?
Right. And it's interesting. So there's a gentleman that I worked with up at USA when I was at the Olympic trials. He's a massage therapist. He's also a what do you call it? A judge, a ref. What do you want to call it? Yeah, an official. So he's an official. So he was, when he was there for USATF Olympic trials, he was playing a dual role, right? So he was an official and he's working under the med tent. But I talked to him last week, and we had this same conversation that it's almost like you do in that situation. You almost have to, like, find out who is the main person. Like, and he even said, like, when he wanted to get on, like, he already had it in when it came to being official, but he wanted to work with the massage team as well because he's a licensed therapist and he specializes in sports rehab work as well. So he had no idea who that is, and he's also a retired federal agent. And he was like, I was relentless, Ron. He said, I went through emails, phone calls. He said, I freaking, like, people probably heard me more than one time. And then when I heard who it was, I reached out to that guy. Like, he went through layers of people to find out who was that one guy that can get him on the team.
Yeah. You have to do it. I mean, I see that every day in what I'm doing. But there is different levels also, because there's a lot of people, and this is there's a lot of people who can do what you guys do at a level that you guys can do it. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not hard or great. It just means there's a lot of people, and if there's a limited amount of people to hire, it's hard to say, does this person deserve it more than others?
Right.
Why did they get it? There's a lot of variables in that right now.
Yeah.
You have to do whatever you can to get an edge, to get visibility, to get attention. Some of it, who knows? It's just time and place, right? And it's
it is time to play. It is interesting because when I was out there too, some of the therapists, it was like the big question amongst us was like, how'd you get here? Who'd you know? Like a lot of people ask that question.
It's a fair question, but
yeah, it was a very fair question, and I just the same story I told you. I told them, and I asked them the same thing. It was, someone who had existing credibility, who basically, saw that they had the skill set and just, hey, come on board, But it is a gray area, credibility over experience. It's like you go into the room, no matter what it is, you may have a person who may not have the full education, but he has a ton of skill set. That you may have this person who has the education or the credibility, the education, but not the whole lot of skill set. So it's kind of a weird. It is a gray area, I guess.
What's your specialty? Do you have a specialty with your training and with athletes, or is it just?
Yeah, so my specialty is sports massage, and what I do in my work, I do a lot of I do focus on some pain management. I do work on stretching, mobility work, increasing range of motion. Someone has a certain pain somewhere, depending what it is. Say like if they're having low back pain, I'll focus on, QL and psoas. So I'll do some stretches around that. And then what I'll do is my other specialty is what I'm certified is in KT taping. So I'll tape them. So I'll do, I'll treat them, tape them, and then move them. So once I do that, once I treat them, I tape them up and then get them moving, just seeing their mobility. And 9 times out of 10, I would say either their pain went down or they have no pain.
And where does martial arts come into all this?
Man, that's my first love, baby. I started martial arts when I was 9 years old. I'm not currently training, but I have over 30 years of experience, and it was just interesting because I worked in levels. I started out in just simply doing karate, then I got into judo, which is more of an athletic sport. So you're actually grabbing, throwing, moving, and then I got into jiu-jitsu. We were doing ground fighting. So I feel like I'm kind of a chameleon, so I can pretty much work in any avenue with I guess with certain athletes or be around certain things. I can understand like body movement and motion and that such.
We had Sifu Matthew on our show. Have you met him? He does healing through martial arts.
Okay.
And you two should definitely meet. You can watch his episode, and
oh, that'd be awesome.
I feel like you guys should meet. He uses healing. You'll watch it and talk to him, but healing through martial arts. It was a great episode. Had a great conversation. Healing is like, athletes. I was just watching PTI, and they talked about Blake Griffin, how he's gone, from a superstar to nobody. And it's his knees. He got injured, and some people can stay on and they can kind of tape them up, right? But injuries is what derails a large. I hate to put a number, but a large part of the athletes out there. They're retiring because of injury.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a bad injury that can't be come back from, or a nagging injury, which could be the worst. It's always like everything we always heard when I was growing up is, oh, you fractured it, you sprained it, you broke it. No, that's good that you broke it because it's going to heal much better than if it wasn't right. So it's all about, hey, how do we heal for the long term, the short term to get them active, but the long term too to extend the career.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was talking to I connected with an MMA fighter on LinkedIn, and we were having a good conversation. But she had a fight. She fights for the UFC, and uh, I guess the last fight she had, it just took her out, man. I mean, she had a torn labrum in her hip and I think something going on her neck. She was just banged up. Like, it was to the point where she wasn't sure if she was ever going to fight again. And it just, you go into such an intense sport, and then you don't know if you don't know if you're gonna be crippled for life, or are you gonna be focused on longevity and try to just work on healing. So it's just interesting to your point. Like, are you focused on are you gonna, after you heal up from that, are you gonna say, you know what, let's go do that all over again? Or are you going to say, you know what, I had my taste and I got to make some life choices, and it's all about just really focusing on my healing, and maybe I could just work with some younger athletes that are hungry and just show them how to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, I talked to someone. I was at a conference last week, and she's doing a 50-mile run, 50-mile run. My brother's an Ironman.
Oh, wow.
Ironman. What type of damage does that do to the body?
What, running 50 miles?
Or an Ironman, right? 20
Ironman?
marathon, a 3-mile, a 100-mile bike ride followed by a 3-mile swim and a 26-mile run all in one day.
Yeah, man, that's insane, man. I don't know. I work with local triathletes, and I think they're crazy. And I got a couple of girls who they do some of the Ironmans, but I don't know if I don't know.
There's Ironman and there's full Ironman.
Yeah, so I have a couple of girls.
Olympic tries, which isn't ridiculous, although any of it's ridiculous for me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's just stress on the body. I mean, you're putting a lot of stress, and you're thinking volume, right? I mean, how much volume and stress are you putting on the human body when you're doing that? It's not like you're just going, like I power lift, right? So it's not like I'm just going up to the bar and I'm putting, my last PR was 430. So all I had to do is just basically grab that bar, deal with that stress for 30 seconds, and then put it down, and I'm done. They have to do that all day. Like, they have to.
8 hours.
It's hours, right? It's like 8 to 12 hours of just crushing their body.
430. That's, I don't know. It sounds pretty good. What is an Olympic record? What are those? What are they getting?
Oh my God! For a guy, I think it's like 1,200 pounds for a deadlift.
How about for athletes, like for NFL and a combine? What are they lifting?
That I'm not sure. I would say they're probably anywhere between 4 to 6.
Okay, so you're in the ball game.
Yeah. I think I'm in the ball game. I'm 40. I'll be 47. So
it's pretty. I'll be 46 in a couple of weeks.
So yeah, I would say but it depends on what they're doing. I mean, if they're a linebacker, I mean, they're probably pulling off the ground well over 500 pounds.
Yeah, you would think. It's incredible, right? I mean, you watch some of these linebackers, like 350-pound men, just running around like a 5.0 40. It's nuts.
They move like a freak. They move like jaguars, man. It's like they're scary.
Well, I'm a pretty good athlete myself. Back in the day, I played hoops. I can be lazy at times, and the one thing where my laziness shown was I never stretched. I hated to stretch. I didn't want to stretch. How important is that type of warm up to going? I mean, could I have performed, and I mean, how did I impact my performance by not stretching?
Oh yeah, man, dude, that's an awesome question. So, if you want to reduce injury, you want to make sure that you're doing stretching before you're actually performing, and not just static stretch. You want to make sure that you're doing mobility and dynamic stretching before you actually do any type of activity. And it just warms up the muscle fibers, fires everything off, creates more blood flow. And, if you go out there in cold muscle, things start spasming. You can pull something. It's just, and I think you and I came from old school way of thought. I think anyone that's, where you just, you did the, the little like this, all right, let's go, and it's not like that, man. If you want to be someone who's not going to increase injury, you have to do a really good warm up. I usually tell people, especially athletes, do at least 15 minutes, even if it's like kind of like a junior version of what you're doing for your sport. Just get out there and just start doing some type of warm up. I think that like the track and field athletes, they do a lot of like the skip hops and stuff like that. So they'll do
basketball players do a lot of that. I see our Gators. Brent's a big Gator fan. He just joined the show. He will watching the Gators do those weird warm ups before but it's working and it needs to be done.
Oh yeah, it needs to be done. I mean, imagine if you had an entire professional team, they just sat on the bench the whole time, and then it's okay, let's go play ball. The injuries would happen.
I was very lucky though. I never really got injured. I'm not a nimble, like flexible kind of guy. But I didn't. I don't know. I didn't, and that's probably part of it was wild. Like one time I went to turn to steal something, and I threw out my back, and I've had problems ever since. So that was way later in life.
Yeah,
and it probably attributed to all of that.
Yeah, and you know what? There are sometimes, if you're young, you can kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember having a guy. He was a marathon runner. He was in his 50s. I was working on him. Both his calves started locking up within the first couple of miles. And he always hydrated well, always ate clean, everything like that. And I said, well, what are you doing before you run? He goes, what do you mean? I just go run. I said, that's probably your problem. He says, well, I never had to go do any type of warm up when, I always just started running. I said, well, you're in your 50s and you got to start, so you have to warm up that muscle tissue. It's like you can't go on cold tissue and just expect it to just say, okay, we're happy.
No, it's not a smart way. You might be able to get away with it. It's not a smart move.
Right.
But we do silly things sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. That's what humans do.
We don't. Yeah, Brent threw out his back reaching for the dishwasher. We've you sneeze. I mean, it's crazy. We joke about it. You sneeze and bam, your whole back is out of line, and it's crazy. Tell me about Be Legendary. Why? It doesn't sound like it's, and I don't mean this the wrong way, but it's not like some kind of unique, crazy new idea to be legendary, but it's a really great motto. It's a great name.
Yeah.
How did you come up with it, and why should I buy Be Legendary stuff instead of other apparel?
Because it's amazing.
Aside from the fact that you're a great guy and it's amazing.
So I came up with it. So I believe it or not, so I have my catchphrase is actually always telling the people to stay awesome. I've been saying that for years. And so I have a good friend of mine. Every time I told him to stay awesome, he would say, Ron, be legendary. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds like an amazing t-shirt. Like, I know my catchphrase is awesome, but that sounds freaking awesome. Right. So I did go to him and I said, hey, listen, would it be okay if I said, I've been really, really thinking about launching an athletic apparel line. Would you be good with if I use that? He was like, oh, absolutely, go for it, man. And I was like, that's it, and I know it's not like, it's like the big swoosh or anything like that, but I feel like, telling someone to be legendary or just have that, it does catch people's eye. When I'm walking with my gear and someone says be legendary, oh wow, what's that all about? And I said, well, it's a new hip athletic apparel that I just launched, and and one thing, I had a conversation with a guy yesterday. He's part of my short shirt school course. And he was like, what is your avatar, Ron? And he said, who are you? What is your demographic in your avatar? And to be honest with you, Matt, I had a vague view of what that person was. So, and I just got to get more clear on who that person is. I know for a fact that it's someone that's in the athletic, someone that's an athlete, someone that's in the world of sports and fitness. That's my target market. I'm getting more clear about what is the age of that target market, though. Is it 25 and up, 35 and up, whatever the case may be? And what I did was I actually partnered up with so there are different what's called print-on-demand companies that I could use. So the print-on-demand company I used had reasonable price gear for wholesale, and I love the feel of it. I got some samples. I was like, you know what, this is what I'm running with. And
enough. I mean, wouldn't you look to manufacture this yourself? All it is you're taking a chance on sales and holding inventory.
Yeah. So here's the thing. When I took the course, there's pros and cons. So if I went ahead and manufactured and did everything manufactured myself, on the low end, out the door, it would cost me about $10,000 on the low end. If we're being real. With this, there is a percentage. So with this, with me working with a print-on-demand company and Shopify, because Shopify hosts my store, they take care of the distribution. They take care of I
get it. On demand, I get it. It takes the risk out of it. The resources, the time. It's a turnkey, and they're doing it. But think about if you sell, and I don't know what the hats and shirts sell for, but the difference between on demand and when you have to pay, and if you're doing it yourself, that $10,000 goes away fairly quickly if you have a brand that sells. Just curious about it. That's all.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really not bad. I mean, for me, it's not bad. I mean, like for example, this hoodie sells for $43, right? Wholesale cost of this hoodie is like, I don't know, I think $18. So I do the what do you call it? The upsell. Yeah, I can think of it. All right. So the print-on-demand company only takes their portion when a sale happens.
Right.
It just keeps my hands clean. And with you, Matt, I am so busy with marketing this and other things. If I had a room full of T-shirts and hoodies I had to unload, that would stress me the frick out, bro.
I understand it because I fulfill my stuff, and I get it. If I could have someone do it, although I think there is value to owning it. It's a conversation for another day. But
yeah, absolutely. But
would you like Be Legendary to be your primary source of income and what you spend the majority of your day on?
I would like it to be one of my sources of income. I do believe in multiple sources of income. So that massage, and then I do have a health and wellness business that I've been working on for some time. Online nutrition business I've been working with some time. But I definitely want at least 2 to 3 really good, solid sources of income.
Right, but if one of those could equal 3, ideally you would just work on one.
Absolutely.
Right, so it's a money thing. So if you could pick one to equal all 3 of those, which would it be?
It would be my clothing line.
Yeah,
definitely my clothing line.
Yeah. What have you reached out to Neil Patrick Harris?
The actor?
Yeah. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, he played Doogie Howser.
Yeah, but he also he was on the show How I Met Your Mother, and he's got a quote about Legendary. It's pretty good. I'll send you the clip.
Okay.
And if I would have thought, I probably should have thought about it. We could have played the clip. We could have played the clip here.
Yeah. And then I am looking into trademarking. I did talk to did you meet the? I know we did that networking thing a couple of weeks back. I mean, a while back. I don't know if you did the second time, but there was a woman, Pamela. Oh my God.
I don't.
Pamela Burley, Bebry.
I don't know if I did meet her. I'm going to play a clip for you if you haven't heard it. Here we go.
Okay.
Trust me, it's going to be legendary. Don't say legendary, okay? You're too liberal with the word legendary.
Ted, tonight we're going to go out. We're going to meet some ladies. It's going to be legendary.
We're building an igloo in Central Park. It's going to be legendary. Marshall, stop whatever you're doing. Get in that hoopty-ass Fiero of yours and come meet us in Philly. It's going to be legendary. She's having friends over for drinks at her house. It's going to be legend. Wait for it. And I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second half of that word is dairy.
So it's that's actually an 8-minute clip of all the times that Barney on How I Met Your Mother said use the word legendary.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we got to get you in touch with
Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, be careful! You don't have a trademark, do you?
Not yet. Like I said, I was talking to an attorney about getting a trademark. So I was. We
have a trademark attorney too. We've trademarked That's the Ticket and Ticket Time Machine. So I have a trademark person as well if you need. But get it done. Get with Neil Patrick Harris. And what's your favorite piece of apparel that you sell?
My favorite one is it's a hoodie. So I have a hoodie. It has a kettlebell and it has wings coming out. And then it says stronger than yesterday.
What does that say at the bottom of your sweatshirt?
So Be Legendary. Then it says, I do what beasts do.
Okay. I like it. I don't like black. I don't wear a lot of black clothes. I don't wear black.
I love black, man.
Black or red. Well,
love black.
The black, you know, when you're not a white male like me, you like black. If you're a female, you like black, right? Those are the main targets for black apparel.
Yeah.
Slimming. I should like it because it's gonna make me look slimmer than normal, but I don't know. It's not. I just never liked black clothing. I just had a thing on Instagram about the Gators are gonna be wearing black jerseys. I'm like, it's terrible. Like we're orange and blue, we're white. Maybe if you want to use green because of the Gators, but I don't want to see us playing in black jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, I have multiple colors, but my favorite color, just in general, is black.
Yeah. Well, you're a dark soul.
Mm.
I'm just kidding.
Well, listen, no, seriously, if you would have saw me my freshman year in high school, you would have thought somebody died in my family. Yeah. Like I literally wore black, just with no colors or anything, all day. I had people concerned about me.
It's good to get concerned. We see too many people walking around wearing things that we probably should be concerned about, and
right.
We don't address it, and then something happens. So it's who would you love to work on as a team outside of Olympics in the sports world? Is it a team? Is it let's say it's a team or a league, or have you envisioned a particular?
I haven't envisioned a particular team, but I would love to just get. And I mean, it all comes down to me just applying myself. But I would love to work with any professional team. I have a friend of mine. His name's Aaron. He got picked up. He's a sports massage therapist. He got picked up this year by the Chicago Cubs.
Wow.
And he called me up all excited. And he's somebody I met. He was somebody I met at the Olympic trials. So he has a 1-year contract with them. And I was like, man, I said that'd be awesome if I could do something like that.
Do you gravitate towards any of the 4 major sports?
As far as watching them or just working?
Someone that you think you would want to work for, or that your skill set might be better for?
No, I really don't have it. I know. I honestly, Matt, I think what I would love to. I mean, I would love to work in any sports league, but I think what I would love to do is work with MMA fighters. I mean, I could definitely relate more to in the martial art world. So I would love to get, if somehow Dana White can sprinkle his glitter on me and said, "Hey, we want you."
You're talking to a UFC fighter. Work with her. make her big and get her well and working, and the news travels quickly. That's for sure. That's what I would say. Mark, I met you at Tim's.
Yeah, in the locker room.
Yeah, so the locker room. So Mark Moyer, and you've been to Mark's events in the club room, Win Again Academy.
No, I haven't. I think I was invited to one. I couldn't make it.
Yeah, they have a hockey event Monday night coming up, which is going to be a good event. Some good people in there. You never know. You never know who's there, who knows someone who knows someone. It's a great way to introduce yourself and maybe just start planting the seeds for this type of that sport, that league. Who knows? Ex-players, whatever. A good networking event on Monday night in the club room. Win Again Academy. They're a sponsor of the show, a big supporter of the show. And between Tim locker room and Mark with the club room, those are my two main networking in the sports world, and great guys. They're doing.
The locker room was awesome. I know there was one I couldn't make it last month this month because I was away in New Hampshire, but the one in May, I'll definitely make.
It's coming up. We're going to let you out of here with the same question we let everyone out of the Wolff Den with. You can spend a day with anybody in the world. They have to be alive, and you can't be related to them. Who would you spend the day with, and what are you guys going to do?
Man, that's a loaded question, man. I don't know. I really don't know.
Anybody? What comes to your mind? We've had some great answers, and we've had some ridiculous answers.
Oh man, let me think really quick.
And while you're thinking, the most ridiculous answer was Vladimir Putin, which we obviously can't make happen.
You know,
if you have enough money, any of this is possible. So
you know what? Honestly, I think the person that actually comes to mind right now is Mike Tyson.
Tyson.
Yeah.
That would be he'd be great to hang out with. I haven't gotten through his little 2-part documentary on his life, which should start out. I mean, he's a fascinating person because a ton of reasons. He probably would be fun to hang out with. Would you get in the ring with him, wrestle? What do you want to do?
I would not do any of that. I would just.
Would you deadlift with him?
Anything where he doesn't have to hit me, I would do.
Not bad. Well, I think again, you never know. We did a Tyson ticket here, ticket time machine.
Oh yeah.
Get into. I did reach out to him as we did it, but didn't hear back from anyone there. But we're always.
I saw that fight. That was actually a pretty good fight too.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's all relative.
I don't know. Somebody said to me, man, had me cracking up. They said, "Look like two drunk uncles fighting." I about fell out my chair.
Exhibition. We're not Brent. If he's listening, he'll give you his opinion. He's a big boxing fan, but we're always trying to make it happen. And the bigger we get, the better chance we'll have to make this happen. So we'll put that on the list. Great to chat with you. Really excited about the Be Legendary stuff. Talk to Barney and see what happens with that. Good luck with the nationals and the U.S. track and field. And information's here. Check out the website for apparel and Instagram. Reach out to Ron if you know someone who needs sports massage and therapy and training. His email and phone number are here. He's on LinkedIn. He's networking. He's ready to go. And it was great chatting with you. We look forward to seeing what's next. And that's it. Tune in tomorrow. We have a guest who has a video on YouTube that has been viewed 7 million times.
Wow.
Pretty good. There's my teaser for nobody who's listening live. When we have the tape, we're going to be like, all right, here's the teaser, but we don't have anyone cutting. We're all live and unedited here. Appreciate it. We look forward to hearing how you do in the near future, and tune in tomorrow for another episode of the Wolff Den.